sampled this stuff. It's delicious. I asked Steve to pick me some up at Costco. I've already gone through a case. Just today. Just kidding. Hi everyone, Jody here. It is back to school time, and this back to school has me thinking of my college years in Normal, Illinois at Illinois State. Go Redbirds! And you know, back then we didn't have seltzers in college. We had jungle juice, but now with all these seltzers and all these things to try, I thought let's whip up something fun for the kids. Which reminds me of one of my spring breaks in college. It's the Rumpelmans incident. Can't tell Steve. Let's just say that the police were alerted. A lifeguard was involved. There was no beach. I can't really talk about it right now. Let's talk about it right now. When you're dealing with a stolen inflatable pool or a stolen inflatable canoe, you can't really have both. There's too many owners that will notice something's missing. And with floodlights, bam, you're caught. Then you're talking to the dean the very next day. Let's just say that wasn't the highlight of my sophomore year, but it was a great memory. There's detention in college. You know, I thought going to college, that was my time to really let the cat out of the bag and have a little fun. But in Normal, Illinois, they're watching. And I think I might have lost my scholarship that year. But I got it back with a casserole. True story. So I thought, what better way to commemorate my college experience than to make a casserole for the modern college generation with a little seltzer. Now that we have these seltzers, I thought, how fun. Let's make a White Claw casserole. So you might be thinking, how do you make a casserole with White Claw? Well, let me tell you, this is not a savory casserole. This is not a sweet casserole. This is a party casserole. This is like a Jell-O shot casserole. Now, I've only worked with Jell-O once before, and I know that you all have a lot of feelings about that. But I think you're gonna have a lot of feelings about this one too. Great feelings. You guys ready to party? Let's go. And just for the record, I think a Jell-O green bean casserole is a party. It's a party in your mouth, that's for sure, with all those layers. But I won't get that party started. Let's get this party started. Okay, so we're gonna start with our first layer. We're gonna pour 2 cups of the Blackberry White Claw seltzer out, and we're gonna boil it. So we're just gonna go ahead and pour this all up. Oh, actually, so that's deceiving. This says it's 12 ounces, but it actually poured out 16. Now, either my measuring cup is off or the White Claw people have been sipping and working. I just picture it's a lot of college kids that work there too, so I'm only assuming that's what's going on. I mean, because that's what would have been happening at my college. Go Redbirds! Oh, Normal, Illinois. It's not that normal. You should see the underbelly. Abnormal. But that's just, you know, that's on the outskirts. Near the college, totally safe. Great place. Should call Steve. You know, he had another incident there, so he had to transfer out, but we stayed together, long distance. I mean, he was just 20 miles away at the community college. You know, when you're busy with your sororities and things like that, there's just not a lot of time to drive 20 miles. I'm just gonna get my roadie here. Jody's roadie. Okay, so we're gonna start by boiling this blackberry. Once that's boiling, I'm gonna add in the gelatin. I really like the strips of gelatin because it just sort of like melts away and it's kind of soothing and meditative in a way. Sometimes I like to put the gelatin strip just right on my mouth and see how long it's gonna take to dissolve. A couple hours because my mouth isn't boiling. But I'll just sit there and dissolve gelatin. It's kind of like a Listerine strip. Do they make those anymore? Those Listerine strips, those were all the rage in my college years. No one was chewing gum, just pop a Listerine strip. There's all kinds of fun we had in Normal, Illinois. Listerine strips. Oh man. That reminds me, if you know anyone who went to Illinois State University in the early 2000s, tag them so that we can just talk about Redbirds and those old time. I'm sure that I would recognize some faces. All the parties I went to, they would probably remember my Jell-O shots or one of my casseroles. That's kind of when I started getting big in my casseroles, known for my casseroles. I made a hangover casserole that would blow your mind. I mean, I think most of my friends came over the next day just begging me to make that casserole. Jody, oh, I had so many of your Jell-O shots. Now I need your hangover casserole. I was busy. I was so busy. I didn't even really have time to study. But my casseroles kept me afloat, even with the professors. You know, some of them were showing up at the parties. In fact, one of them is who stole the canoe. But I can't get into that because I signed a DNA. A DNA? Do not, well, I signed one of those things where I can't really talk about it. I think this is working. Okay, so my blackberry seltzer is boiling over here. I'm gonna put in 2 gelatin strips. Ooh, just melted right in. Get my whisk. Oh yeah. So my gelatin has dissolved, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour this into a bowl and bring this over. I'm going to line my casserole dish with some blackberries. Now, I like to use frozen blackberries because fresh, you know, you put the hot liquid on it, they're gonna bleed, and then that's gonna kind of mess up your first layer. And remember, this is an art, not a science, you know? Well, it is a science, but there's an art to it too. And so this is the art part. You can use fresh if you want, but then you've got the bleeding. You know, nobody likes a bloody casserole. So the fun thing about this one is we're gonna use the blackberries with the blackberry seltzer, and then we're gonna use another flavor of seltzer for the next layer and another type of fruit. I thought, how fun to match the fruit with the flavor of the seltzer. Different textures, different flavors. Make an explosion of flavors in your mouth. Ooh, look how fun that is. It already looks like a party. Let's get this started. Blackberries are in. I'm gonna pour this blackberry seltzer gelatin on top. Look at that, they're kind of like floating, like they're swimming in a pool. Not an inflatable pool, you know, there's no canoe involved. We don't have to alert the cops. Throw her in the fridge. So the next layer is going to be strawberry White Claw. So just like the first time, we're gonna need 2 cups of the strawberry seltzer. It's really a copious amount of White Claw in this dish, which I love. I could make probably, let's see how many casseroles I could make. There's 12 cans in a pack, but I'm drinking at least 4 while I'm doing it. So that means that I could probably make, I don't know, we'll do that math later. And then the rest for me. Just go ahead and move my straw into that one. Throw a little heat on it. Okay, give that a couple minutes. Doesn't take long to boil. This White Claw on the stove has me thinking like White Claw stew. The casserole. Oh, I like that. That's got a nice ring to it. Jody's casserole. The White casserole. By the way, did you see my seahorse earrings? Yeah. Cute, huh? Okay, it's boiling. I'm gonna take my gelatin. Give that a stir. Looks good, Harold, huh? I'll give you a shout later. Don't you just love naming your kitchen accessories? Harold's been with me for a while. Ooh. For the strawberry layer, I'm gonna use fresh. So they bleed a little bit, but just a little haze, if you will. So like I mentioned, this gelatin is gonna take a minute to sit. And by minute, I mean like a few hours. And I've got a thing I've gotta get to. So I'll go back and do that and I'll be back. Now Sandra's a little upset about the PTA. All right, we're back. So I've got my finished Jell-O here. Look at those layers. You got the blackberry layer. You got the pink strawberry hazy layer, TM. It's trademark. Don't worry about it. It's a DNA thing. Some people have their beer muscles. I've got my seltzer muscles. Here we go. Now I'm gonna flip it. Now it looks like some of my blackberries are frozen on top there. Here we go. Well, it's definitely not a 10. I don't think I could even give it a 5. I mean, that just looks like schlop on a tin foil plate. You know, you say Jell-O, oh, she messed up a Jell-O mold. This is very, very difficult. Does it look like a brain a little bit? Maybe. It's how it tastes that really matters. Okay, so I give myself a 2. I mean 3, but let's face it, it's a 2. Let's just move on and taste it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get a strawberry flavor and a blackberry flavor. There you have your White Claw Jell-O shot. Now, even to this day, I still say go Redbirds before every shot. It confuses some, but it's just a thing. You know, it's tradition. Am I right, Illinois State? Go Redbirds! I think the White Claw flavor actually boiled out. And really, we just have clear gelatin in them and fruit flavor. Not as punchy as I would like. Kind of like eating snot with fruit. I'm gonna go ahead and just give this a 2 all the way around. There's some work to be done. You know, I had higher expectations given the popularity and the intense flavor of the White Claw, but it really boiled down to nothing, literally, but some gelatin and fruit. Well, it's about that time to go pick up the kids. I hope everyone's having fun back at school, and we'll see you next time where hopefully I perfect this. Go Redbirds!